Hi, this is Eric Martin with BoardGameGeek. Beth Hiley, also a BoardGameGeek. We are joined today by Kanechku from NIBCARD, known by KC. KC, welcome. Glad to have you on the live stream for Gen Con.
Thank you so much, Eric. I'm also very happy to be here.
Yeah, it's great to have you here as well. You have a really interesting story because you seem like you do a bit of everything with design, publication, promotion, distribution, starting a cafe,
convention,
the convention,
educational
everything
games.
across the board. Yes. So we're hoping to get overview sort of how you started with design. So I believe your first design published before NIBCARD even officially started was 2013. So I don't know if you can tell a story of how that game came to be. Or Casey is frozen.
Tenuous internet connection today. Oh, there we go, Casey.
He's back. Thank you so much. Good to see you.
Okay. Okay.
So I'm so sorry about the internet connection. Sometimes it's working well, and then sometimes it's very terrible. So I sincerely apologize to everyone watching.
No.
Just like you said, Eric, in retro perspective, a lot has happened since 2013, and every time I want to tell the story, I always start with saying that I've never done any of them alone. They're a group of young people that I've met at each stage, and some have actually stuck around up till now, and as well as a lot of really nice people in the global community. So these people have been really supportive. But I think for me personally, I think I just wanted to design game. I knew, what designing game was about. The first time I designed was out of boredom. I had never joined I had never seen a board game group on Facebook or played any game out of the classics like Monopoly, Chess, Scrabble, Ludo. I've never seen any other game. But there was this 6 months strike in university, so there was no school for 6 months. And I had this friend from Cameroon who was studying in Nigeria, so I had to design a game for him. And we still talk up to today, and we look back and we laugh about the whole incident around designing it. But along the line, I now discovered that okay, I've designed a game. Now I want to make this game, and I tried online, looked at to make it in the cost of making and afford it. So I had to start watching YouTube channels to learn how to make it. And over the years, it has grown from the our product. Look at some of the ones we have from 2016, and we've seen the progress. And when we started making the game, now I started asking myself, okay, I want people to play this game now. Where should we start going? And then that was how we started going to lounge and going to cafes, shop around Abuja. And some managers in the hotel will say, okay, come and do it this night. They all love the concept. Like, these are new things that they are not the regular Monopoly, chess, and all. So we started that journey, and we started doing game nights in different places. I remember we had this wooden box, because all of our games then, they were not in boxes. They were just the board that we carved with straw board, and they were you would thinking about it now. I wonder how they allowed us inside their place with those stuffs, because they were not up standard. And then so I think that was where it started from, when we started now dreaming, and we could own our own place. And on one afternoon like that, I was with Tobena. Tobena is a friend and also a colleague, board cafe. That was 2018. One afternoon, I had a camera. We could not, because before they would run a campaign for a convention, which was also part of the way we wanted to promote, the industry then. And then we just, okay, why not do an unscripted video? And we did that, and within a week, in the go, supportive. But at the time, we had it on the games, and so at the time we had improved a bit on the game. So we rewarded backers with some of our games, and in return, we use the profits to set up the cafe. So that was how the whole thing came about. But if you ask me sincerely, I just wanted to design games, but I think the realities and the necessities now, brought out all the other things that had to come in place for those games to be played.
Okay. So in terms of making a place for the games to be sold as well, or just people come into the cafe and they're introduced to the games that way, that they don't know we're there?
Yes. So it's actually quite interesting. Whenever someone walks into the cafe, they are amazed. It's something that we keep seeing every day. And every single person that walks in, like, are all these board games? And I actually add with, like, there are literally over 1 million games. Don't ask me where I got that fact from, but there are literally over 1 million games. And like, if you go to Kickstarter or in Google now, you see new games coming up. So I kind of try to exaggerate it more so they see that it's beyond what is even here. And so what we do is we try to introduce them to say, okay, see, the concept is bigger than the 8 games that but the ones we sell are the ones we use or other games from other Nigerian designers that we have in the cafe. So we don't sell the ones that were donated. They were kindly donated by a lot of people, including Bastard Games Cafe. They actually did a game drive for us in Denmark. And we saw the first day these games came in, we literally all cried. And we cried again the next day and the next day again. And all my friends were all coming. They're all on Facebook. Pictures are on Facebook. Everyone started coming to take pictures of 300 games. And it was just cool. So I think it's more of introducing people to that new world. So we show them things like meeples, pawn, dice. So a lot of my friends, and I'm saying my friends because at least I'm kind of inclined into the tabletop gaming industry, but a lot of my friends, all of my friends had never seen a dice that is more than 6 side or less than 6 side. So it's just the 6-sided dice. So anytime we just bring out the triangle or the 8 side or the 24, oh my God, their heads are like, and I felt the same way. The first time I saw it as well, I felt the same way. So yeah, that's what the cafe tries to achieve.
Okay. I mean, that makes sense. It's hard to know what's possible if you've only seen a certain number of things your entire life. So that's all you think of for games:
True.
Monopoly, Ludo, Scrabble, and that's it.
Yeah.
So you also started the African Board Game Convention, 2016. So is this also along the same lines, trying to spread awareness?
Yes. So yes, absolutely. So that was it was 2016. I met there was this event that happened in Abuja. It's sort of a convention. It's actually a convention, but a cultural convention. So the masquerade, art and dance, and also I met Joy, who was part of the organizers. It was more of a fusion of, okay, this is, a convention is possible, but now there's a new type. You have a new content, board games. And at the time, I probably have about 5 foreign games then. And we had prototype. We'd never published any of our games then. They were all prototypes. So just blocks and stones, or just, there were no cubes or pawn then. So they were just very raw. But we wanted people to see that we could create our own games with Nigerian content and images and names that they can understand. And so now it happened. It's actually funny that the name I had in mind was so funny. It's a name from my own tribe. I'm not sure I can remember that name, but it was one of the organizers then, Zainab. She coined the name African Board Game Convention. Because I love culture. I love culture. Anything about me, I try to, even my tone, I love my culture a lot. So she's like, no, we have to make it so everyone can understand, because Nigeria is a country with over 400 tribes. So if you name it after one tribe, a lot of people might think that it's a tribal thing. So that was how we settled to African Board Game Convention 2016.
Okay. So you mentioned the prototypes having images and names that people would be familiar with. And I know I've seen interviews with you talking about wanting to create games that have Nigerian narratives. So what were the elements that you wanted to put into your designs? I don't know if you give examples for people who are unfamiliar with what you've done.
Okay, so we have, I think I want to start with the background. So one of the days, I think the early days, I was looking at a chess game, and the chess game literally violates everything I've been taught in school. First, I was taught that a bishop is supposed to be a peaceful person. The king is the strongest person in the kingdom, and the queen is reserved. But that's not what is happening on the chess. The queen is like everywhere. The king is reserved and almost powerless, just that kind of authority. And then the bishop is in war. What? How can a bishop carry gun? I mean, think of a bishop carrying gun now. So that means this is a story of a time. And if you watch movies like Merlin, you see Morgana. You see, if you watch Last Kingdom, you're seeing queens who are going to war, and that means this was a time, and this is a story. And then if you look at same thing with Monopoly, Elizabeth designed it to educate people on capitalism, even though kind of, but that was the story behind it, yeah. So I felt that means we could design a game that even from the name, people are already proud and they can associate it. So we have a game called Chiawa. Now, Chiawa is means grass in our language. Now, that means if you're playing it, you begin to know, okay, so maybe the whole concept is about pasteurization and rearing your cattle. That means these are associated with the Hausa tribe, and they are very proud of it. If you come to Nigeria, you see cows reared on the road, even at the airport. At the international airport, you see cow passing through. In a civilized manner, some people like it, but it's happening every day. Even in my house, you just see over 50 cows walk past the gate. 50 cows. Exactly. So that's what that game shows. And it begins to stir up curiosity. So you want to now go Google more or research more. And then we have Safe Journey. So Safe Journey, if you travel Nigerian road, you could write a movie, a book, an animation, and even design a game. Of course, we design a game on it. But when you say Safe Journey, there are a whole lot of things that happen. And I tried to show as much as possible, most of which I've experienced, some from stories or from family. So we try, even the narrative, the dialogue, some are in Pidgin English, some are in Nigerian slangs, but it was designed in a way that anyone playing it can understand the dialogue that is happening. So that's what Safe Journey is all about. Almost everything that happens on the Nigerian road. We try to do the artworks. We want to show that Black people are on the board. We want to show that you can name the game after names that we know, and then we could use the word as well. The whole theme and narratives is absolutely our own. So either things that happened before or stories that I read when I was in young primary school or secondary school.
Casey, one of the things that I was really interested when I was looking over your catalog was that you've also made some games specifically for kids and for education. And I'm just wondering how that connects with possibly schools in Abuja, or that kids coming into the cafe perhaps?
Yes. So both ways. So I have a background. I volunteered with an organization, a British organization operating in Nigeria for over 4 years, and I then worked with them for almost 3 years. So I recently resigned to become full-time into the game industry. So October was my last month. So my role in the organization was a program officer, education program officer. So I had to be involved in teachers training, classroom preparations, project implementation, reporting, and everything. So that's my, I think that's where some of my passions came from. I love anything that is education. And, so that I could see the needs from, we worked in rural communities, schools where half are not even there. Children are sitting, so I could see it and create ways that we could design games. So that was, I think those were the early stages. And then with the support of my organizations, they were used in some of the schools and all. But again, children also come to the cafe, and they will also not bring people to the cafe. We also attend birthdays, we go to orphanages, we go to IDP camps. So we go to where children are, and they will also start clubs in schools, so partner with organizations. So the reason is we are targeting old people, not like old people, like our age mates, young adults. But we also know that once a call, children are very important. They want, and I think it will be generations. I don't want to just analyze, but most prefer party games because it's not a culture. So it's more of, let me chill out with friends and just have fun. If we focus on younger generations, then it becomes a culture. They'll probably want to go in on heavy games and design even their own games. Oh, and then we even went to do designing classes, and it was amazing.
Oh, wonderful.
Students their own games. We put them in group. Some of the pictures that we went to a very dilapidated school, and they also went to a rich school. So we wanted to try if the skill was, it could transfer the skill. In the two schools, despite the resources, there's enormous in one and the lack in the other, they were designing their own game. I could remember one. It was just so it was a bit of snake and ladder, but twisted with new mechanics. But it was fun, like seeing that from a 7-year-old, how the dog is moving, funny, and that is beautiful. It was really beautiful. So yeah, I tried to target children as well.
I don't know if you're jumping in with another question.
No.
So tied in with people designing their own games, you're also creating now tabletop game design kits. And I guess that's also to help spur creation by other people. Give them tools, blank tools they can use, and then they have to figure out what to do with it.
Might have to ask that question again once his stream unhiccups.
Are you with us, Casey?
Yes. Just like I said, everything will be it. So at this year, I think this started this year more. I've been getting a lot of calls. Getting a lot from people asking questions about game design and components and all of those. So we felt like if we can solve part of that problem, and that is for them to have those things that I couldn't in the early days, for them to see pawn tokens, queue pools, and see this type of and when people have those things, the kind of games they design better. So of course, I say over and over again, they're like, unique game design kits. So this particular game design kit we answer this question that you have. Then if you have any other one, then we'll find a way to solve that. And then we are not just looking at that. We also try to partner with the comic community in Nigeria, because we are looking at a synergy where comic artists will understand the tabletop game industry, the graphics, all the measurements necessary, like the normal card, standard card, the box, different. So at the moment we've worked with 4 independent comic animation teams for them to design our games, and also linked to different clients. And all of this is so that we're all in the same page, and it's easier for new designers. Once they call, I can say, okay, talk to this particular company. They're already conversant with game design, and so it's easier that way.
Okay.
You know, Casey, one of the things I'm interested about is you have so many different visions of producing and promoting conventions, education, the cafe. What would be your next big step for NIBCARD? What's the next big thing that you hope to accomplish?
To be honest, it's in the production part. Currently, we have currently we make our games apart from the printing that is done with machine. We make them with our hands and cutting the card and all. So we got to that stage where a lot of people are wanting games now, and a lot of people are wanting better games. Even I want better games. So we are, for us, the next big thing now is machine. That was one of the reasons why I had my job. I want to focus on this so I can able to solve that problem. If the problem is does is make a lot of game at the same time, and then it can become cheaper because we already know that logistics is a very, 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 very difficult. So if we can reduce the cost of games, then it will be better for people that want out of Nigeria. So for us, the next big thing is issues. That of long term, we are now too much. Not call them over the years with more knowledge and new resources. Our works are better. So one is called Village War, and the other is called the Battle of Africa. So these two games are hopefully Eric and Beth, you guys are going to see it. Hopefully,
yes, we're trying to work that out.
Village War is it has taken a lot of time and a lot of things from everybody. You know, I remember nights that I have to wake people up because we need to get this story straight. Like, how do we? The illustrator, or we've quarreled and we've come back and we've quarreled again. So I'm actually looking forward to Village War and the Battle of Adrika. So Battle of Adrika, yeah, it's more of an expansion because we got more resources like meeples and all. So we want to now expand it and add new mechanics that we couldn't add because of resources then. So it's a make-believe world that what could have happened if the Berlin Conference didn't go well. Conference that happened, I think, 18th century, where for Africa happened. So we said, what if it didn't go peaceful? That the colonials, so war colonials, fighting for regions with different resources, within their own limited resources as well. So, and I'm actually looking forward to two of the games.
Yeah, you had sent me some pictures on Village War, so I've had a chance to see the illustrations myself, to read some of those stories behind, the different gods and characters. So I'm really excited to take a look at that myself.
Thank you.
Yes, I had notes too of ask about Village War and Now the Matter as I was going through your Facebook feed, just saying I have not seen that game and not that game. And usually I try to use the BGG database to keep track of what's out there. But of course, you are creating new games, and so then I want more information. So I don't know if did you give over? Sorry,
I didn't hear that.
I don't know if you want to give an overview of Village War or Now the Matter, other games that are coming.
Okay, so Village War. Village War is actually a sequel game. The is Village War: The Calamity. So an overview is it's actually a mix of fantasy, mythology, history, and the present day of Igbo people. So I'm from the Igbo culture in Nigeria, so Igbo tribe in Nigeria. So it started with the first Igbo man that descended on earth and how he signed off his immortality with Chukwu, who is God, and how he started a family and then named the location, which still exists. So it tries to bring in some of the gods in the Igbo mythology, some of the artifacts, the powers, and some of history. So all the timeline that we're using are actually real history of when all the things that happen. So it's like I said, it's a mixture of folklore, mythology, history of the Igbo tribe, and it's a sequel. So there's Village War, the calamity. There's Village War, the invasion. Village War, the betrayal. Village War, the supernatural. So these four are already designed. We've not done the final Village War, the new fate. Once people are playing, the way it's designed is that it's a story. So you have to read the story to play. And when you play this, you want to know how the story ends. So I'm actually looking forward to that.
Okay.
Casey, we do have a. Oh, sorry, Eric. Go ahead.
Nope. Go.
We had a couple of questions from the chat talking about helping to foster new designs, new game designers. We had a question from Iron Spy saying, "Have you seen any people come up with any really unique mechanics?" And then we had a question from Kabuki Kid saying, "Is anyone working on cooperative games?"
Okay. Good questions. So for me, I'm not sure I'm qualified to classify unique mechanics because I'm not sure I've played enough games to know the mechanics that go around. But what I do know is that there are new games that I've not heard of from Nigerian designers. In particular, there's Yesida Oluola. She designed First Mention, and recently she just made two. I can't say, so we just made some prototype for her. For me, I think those are different games. I've never thought of them, and when we were making it, we were actually playing it at the same time. It was really fun for us, and we shared feedback. So, yes, there are people, and like I said, people keep calling, and once they call, the next thing is, oh, so I'm sending you my NDA form to sign so I can share this idea to you. That means it should be a unique one. So I'm not sure if I can categorize unique mechanics or not, but what I do know is that they are different from the ones I've designed, and I know I've designed a lot, including prototypes. And yes, for cooperative games, we have one. It's some of the pictures are on Facebook. I'll probably mention you both on that. So you just see, we've played it a lot, 2016, but we can't make them now. There are a lot of components that it needs. We can't. So we just worked with what we could at the time, and we still play them when we can. So it's actually called War on Terra, and it's supposed to be for people that has been casted away from the society. So a retired soldier, an undergraduate nurse, a journalist, and then a volunteer. Four of them had to go rescue some hostages from a terrorist zone. So each had to depend on their own skills and all. So, but the game is complex. When you see the pictures, you probably see what I'm talking about, but we can't make them now with the resources too. So we just pack them at the moment. So hopefully in the future we could make them.
Okay. I want to mention you had a connection with a cafe in Columbus, Ohio, Tabletop Cafe, that was doing an offer in which they were going to get your games to people in the US. How did that come about?
It was in February, early February, and Aaron sent me a personal message, Aaron Brown, the owner of Tabletop Games Cafe. God bless him. So Aaron sent me a message, yeah, and I was really excited. And then the next few weeks, the whole world shut down, the coronavirus and all. Honestly, I did not know what would happen again. I thought probably, I didn't know what to say. I didn't know how to bring it up. And then things looked as they were settled. He sent another message that, hey, I have not forgotten what I told you earlier. And that was how the whole thing started. And so Tabletop Games Cafe, they're trying to bring all our games to US. And it's cheaper, and having a name like that behind you, it shows more credibility, because sometimes it's difficult for people to even believe that, oh, these games are actually going to come to them. So, but for them to put out their neck for, and then they are pre-ordering, it's just the whole team. I'm not the only one. Everyone is just excited about it, because for us, it's an opportunity to show what we can do. And it kind of came at the right time, because we found a new trick of making our games better, but somehow we didn't know we could, and it didn't cost extra, right? So, and it makes the game even better. And so the confidence to release these games now are much more than it were last year. So I think everything kind of worked.
Okay. I'll mention in passing that for the audience, Beth is our production manager for the BGG store, and we're ordering titles from KC to see what we could possibly carry in the BGG store down the road. Just because, yes, it is.
Yeah, somebody had asked in the chat, and we're going to start with kind of this test order first. Casey and I were talking a couple days ago, figuring out shipping together.
It's a big work. That's the biggest work.
Yeah.
Shipping.
Yeah, it's terrifying for everybody.
Yeah.
Oh my God! There was something that happened. So when we ran the campaign on Indiegogo, so we didn't go back. I told you, Beth, earlier. So I agreed on the shipping price, and that was what we used for the campaign. But after the campaign, it all increased. I'm like, jeez, increased. It was terrible. It was terrible, and I didn't know how to go back and tell people, hey, it would have. So I learned a huge lesson from that incident.
Yeah.
With the increase in shipping cost, yes, that is a surprise for many people running Kickstarters all the time. Yes. Where are you shipping games to? Yeah. How long will it take? What are the guidelines there? Beth deals with that a lot.
I deal with that a lot. Yeah, it's quite the Wild West in shipping right now, and the pandemic is just a whole nother layer on top of that awful cake.
So, Casey, you mentioned, I believe the person who was designing the game, was it Fast Market? Was it Fresh Market?
Sorry, I didn't get that.
You mentioned someone who was mentioned. Sorry. Are you helping them move to market as well? Are you publishing something else? I believe all the NIBCARD games so far have been your designs or co-designs with you. Are you planning to publish other people, or are you going to try to help them publish?
So what we do now for certain is the service we provide now is this to get your game on table, right? And we also, of course, try to promote it in the cafe and share pictures as much as we can. But we've not really gone into the marketing side, because we ourselves have not found a more sustainable pattern, and I don't want to give hopes to people. So we actually make it clear, hey, we are not selling yet, but what we can do is make your games for you, and we can share it to as much network as we can. So but if you want us to sell at the cafe, we can always have them on the shelf. And so these are some of the games. So if you want us to sell, but I'm not going to tell you that at the end of this month that we will sell, we'll give you. So it removes that pressure from us. But for us, that's why these games coming to US is important, because if we can find a way that is more sustainable, I'm sure that there are a lot of people that are already calling and asking. We want, most times when people call, they've not designed their own games yet. We've not had the conversation yet, but they are starting with, so how do you market it? I'm like, we've not designed the game yet. Let's play. Let's play it. See that it's enjoyable. See that people enjoy it first before you start all of those things. And just like I said, that also is one of the reasons why we really need machines, because we tried to talk to external independent distributors here in Nigeria, at least let it get to people's home. But the quantity that they are requesting is and things that we can't make right now. So like 5,000 copies for one game, and we can't make them now. So either what we do is we just sell to people that come to the cafe for now, or people that order on the website or order online.
Casey, I'm curious, as a player, do you have a favorite title, or do you have a favorite mechanic, a type of game that you yourself like to play?
I love to play as Zoo. I've always made that open. I just like the strategy. It's simple and it's elegant. For me, I love to play that. But I also enjoy other games if I see people playing. I love Sheriff of Nottingham, but I don't shout that off. It's because of the lies and stuff private. But I love Sheriff of Nottingham. I love that. But I love I'm not sure. I mean, I love any particular mechanics, but recently I've started seeing that it's like I like war games. I like to design war games because there are a lot of products that now I'm actually looking at them and I'm seeing that they're all almost war games. So, but it's like I started noticing them. I'm not really taking a deep look at.
Okay. I know you have a word game out this year. You released Concentration. I don't know if you want to describe that.
Yeah. So, concentration. Actually, what we did is, like most of our games are things that are already in Nigeria, and then we now turn them tabletop games. So, concentration game we play. Everyone age of 20, 40 years will probably know concentration, but we used to play freestyle. So it's a party game. If we are wasted, we just start concentration, and everyone will say concentration. You have to, because we said already, you're like names of the simplest thing, names of things you can find in the kitchen, and you start with the answer. Plate. The next person will mention the next thing. I will keep going until someone says the wrong thing or waste a little bit of time before they remember what they want to say. And if you're wrong, you take another shot. So if you keep failing, you just keep failing forward because you get more wasted out. So what we did, it's a very, very funny party game. So what we did, we created 3 rounds. We added mechanics. So instead of taking shots, we made it a family game, like a social game. So instead of drinking, so you have your cards, and if anyone that fails a round will collect that card. So at the end of all the rounds, say if you share four cards to everyone, that means every 4 rounds. So at the end of all 4 rounds, the person with the least amount of card wins the game. So you could start, like I said, concentration. We could actually play one now. I don't know.
Oh, hey, we're always up for playing a game on camera. I'm nominating Eric. I'm saying yes.
Okay. Yes.
Okay. Eric, are you ready? Okay.
Yes.
Concentration. So you have to respond. Concentration.
Yes.
Okay. Concentration. You have to respond with concentration. Sorry, I didn't get it.
Oh, sorry. Concentration.
Okay. So the last time now. Concentration. Names of.
Yes.
Okay, so the active player will say concentration. Then everyone on the table will respond with concentration once.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. And then the active player will now read the question and start answering immediately. Then the next player will start. So who is the player now?
Okay.
We'll say it's you.
But who should be the next player? Okay, Bet.
All right.
Okay?
Sure. Now, am I giving a category clue, like the example you gave, like things in the kitchen, or?
It could be of currencies in the names of currencies, any names of board game designers. It could be anything because you want the to fail. So if you want a player to fail so that they collect the card. So it could be anything, but as long as but you can be challenged. And if you're challenged, you can mention, you're supposed to mention five answers.
Oh, okay, that's tricky. Okay, well, because we have our last 2 minutes, so I'll do one round with me, and then we'll wrap things up. So I'm going to start it off by saying concentration, concentration.
Concentration.
Yep. Concentration.
Things that you see in the sky. So clouds.
Airplanes.
Birds.
Birds.
Birds films. You wasted time.
I did. I wasted time. I choked.
You wasted time. So at that place, you collect the card for that round and keep it by the side.
I had my good moment in the last hour when we were guessing answers for initials.
That's right. It's a different game. You used up all your game skill there.
I did.
Okay. So Casey, we have another minute. Is there anything we didn't ask about or something you want to say that we didn't cover?
No. I just want to say that I'm actually very grateful for this. And I'm not just saying that. There are a lot that I've learned from BGG. And I'm so happy that it was even created. And then there are people that are behind it and running all of those stuff. Since 2016 was when I created an account on BGG, and I've learned a lot. And I read some. At first, it was really confusing. I will not lie. At first, I like this new platform. Is a bit manageable than the last one, but at the same time, if I go to the forum, even when the conversations I might not understand, I still read comments, and they are really helpful comments because those are things that I now come to practice. So I think I just needed to give that feedback. That thank you, BGG. Thank you for even existing. There are a lot of things that the repo have created here.
Okay. Well, I'm glad it's useful. If you know the designer Friedemann Friese from 2F Spiel with the green hair, do you know him? No? Okay. He's a famous German designer. Right now, he is going through every single game in the BoardGameGeek database, trying to see what's out there and look for inspiration. There's 120,000 games. So
exactly.
He has a lot of work.
How many years is it going to take him?
Sorry?
It could take years.
It could take years.
Take him years.
Yes.
Yeah, it could take him years.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what he says. 2024, he'll be done. That's his plan. So, okay. Well, thank you very much. I'm glad you were able to join us. We could talk about NIBCARD games, talk about your design history, and I'm sure we'll be talking with you again in the future.